Hey YouTubers, how are you doing? I wanted to do a quick video on some things that I figured out on my own with Amplitube 5. It seems like there's a lot of demos and reviews and documentation out there about Amplitube 5 when you're using an iRig Stomp IO along with especially an iOS device. And there's not a lot of documentation out there for when you're using Mac or PC. So I wanted to answer some questions and do a quick how-to on some things that I found that were not quite as user-friendly as maybe they could have been, or at least not well documented. You know, things that I had to search around to try to find. I wanted to consolidate things into one video and maybe save some folks some time and make the video that I had hoped to find and ultimately didn't end up finding. So here are a few things. This is version 5.4. I am using a MacBook, so that's what you're looking at right now. So tone.net in the upper right hand corner is fairly new. It is up and running. I'll delve into that a little bit. But the first topic that I wanted to show was how to take a custom preset of your own and save it into a bank. Once again, it looks like this is really easy with the interface on an iOS device, especially an iPad that's well documented. But it took me some forum searches and things like that to figure out how to do this. And it's actually easy if you know how to do it. But anyway, so I'm going to switch to a custom setting that I have right here. And I want to save that into one of these banks. And as you can see, I can't touch on it, whatever else. One of the forum posts said, click on the 000 in the upper left-hand corner. Well, as you can see, this is that button. But with this version, it does not say 000. So when you have your the preset that you want to save into a bank location active, so this is called test vid, open here, and I'm going to save it into bank 45. Okay, great. So now we'll scroll up and you can see it is saved in bank 45. So there is the first item that I wanted to show you. Similar to the previous segment, now I'm going to show you how to remove that custom bank that we saved in slot 45. I'm no longer using that one. I'm going to delete the preset, whatever. So I've got a different preset set as active. So now I open this menu and I go to Control and I scroll down to that bank. I click here. I click Remove. I click OK. Now I scroll back into the 40s and it should not be there. Yep, bank 45 is clear. So that's how you remove an existing preset from the bank. Now notice that the preset still exists, it's just not assigned to a bank, which is fine. To show you is how to move back and forth in and out of the stomp area when you've got your banks and your stomps up in the section. So you're playing along and you want to tweak your rig settings, your amp, your speakers, a pedal, whatever else. So when you go down here and you click on your amp and you make a slight change. And so you've doctored it, you've got it how you want it now. Let's say that you update your preset, so you've saved it. We'll overwrite it. Yeah, fine. So we've saved our preset called test vid. Now, how in the world do you get back to your Stomp IO page, right? The secret there is this live button right down here. So when you click this button right down here, it's got the little pick on it that says live. That takes you back to this view. And then obviously toggling back and forth between preset mode and stomp mode is holding the pedals 3 and 4 down. So that's how you get back and forth. If you go tweak your speakers or you move a mic or whatever you're going to do and then you want to get back to your stomp screen, it is like this. You should also note that if you change presets, see, I've now modified my preset, and if I alter presets and go to something else and then come back to it, it will not have my changes. So if you change presets and you haven't saved any alterations that you've made, they're gone and you would need to make them over again. So when you alter something in a preset and you like it, be sure to save it before you move on to something else. To show you is less about the Stomp IO and it's more about modifying your presets. So I have this preset that I've been using. It's called Test Vid, and let's say that I want to rename it. I can either have it active and I can open this menu here and say edit. I could do it that way, or if it's another one that you don't currently have active, then you could go into this preset browser here and you can search. It will come up there, but then if you highlight and you get this little pencil icon, then you can make any changes that you have to make. Click save, and then it's saved all over again. You can also set it as a favorite with this bar, and then there's this favorites filter over here. So this button here is a preset browser that allows you to doctor some of your settings if you need to make changes. One more thing that I wanted to show was more of a general setup consideration. Whenever I open Amplitude, I almost always go into the in and out screen here. And what you set as your output device depends on what you want to do. Generally, I don't use the MacBook Pro speakers for obvious reasons, but you can use the Stomp IO, or you can use the headphone jack on your computer. In this case, like I said, I'm using a MacBook. So if I can use the headphone jack on the Stomp IO, and I can play and I can hear all that stuff. If I want to play along with something that I'm practicing or any other type of recording, say from iTunes, for example, then I definitely want to use the output jack on the MacBook itself, because the MacBook will not route other audio, like from iTunes, for example, or the Apple Music app, I guess they call it now. It will not route that back out through your Stomp IO. I generally keep the output set to the external headphones. Now, if you're playing along with something within the recording environment here, and you're down here in the mixer area, then it might. I guess I haven't tested that yet. Anyway, I said all that to say that in general, I try to keep my output setting to the headphone jack on the computer rather than the actual headphone output on the Stomp IO. Just something to consider when you get set up. Another thing I wanted to show is more of a general navigation type of setup. If you go into tone.net to search for other users' tones or something like that, so you get in here and you're browsing something, and I'm hoping that this is clean so it doesn't produce a bunch of background noise. If I click on this, it will set that as active. So that is now the active preset that's going on in my Amplitube. And then I couldn't figure out how to get back and find my way back for a little bit. So I was clicking on everything under the sun up here to get back around. And I guess it's easy, but it took me a while to figure this out. If you click back on tone.net, it takes you back out of tone.net. You can see up here that the selected preset from tone.net is still active, and that's fine. I can make any alterations to the rig. I can save it to my local presets, what have you. And then I can also just click here, and it takes me back to my own presets. But anyway, getting in and out of the tone.net area is just the tone.net button. It makes sense to take you there, but I guess it didn't. I would have thought you would click on the Amplitube to get back to Amplitube, but that's not the case. So in and out of tone.net, use the tone.net button. One more topic I wanted to cover is regarding the transfer of your presets from Mac or PC to iOS. At this time, they do not transfer them. IK Multimedia's statement has been that the presets on the different platforms are in different code, so they are, I guess, understandably wanting to sell them separately. So I guess what I mean is you cannot set up all your presets on Mac and then pick up your iPad and then go down the road to your buddy's place and plug in and have those presets be available on iOS. I can sort of understand that they're saying they were developed separately and they're trying to source them as different revenue streams, independent of one another. But I would certainly think it seems like there's been a lot of displeasure voiced about that. So I would think that it's something that they're going to want to look at possibly, having one cloud-based bin for a user to grab all their presets from. Maybe something in the future, but I certainly don't expect them to give that away for free. In the final segment for this video, I'm hoping that you, the user, can help me figure out something, a challenge that I haven't been able to overcome yet. I've only had my Stomp for a few days, and I've been able to figure out most things on my own, but I've got a bump in the road here, and I just can't seem to find any documentation or anything on how to solve the problem. What I'm referring to is how to get the Stomp, your pedals into the Stomp area for a certain, preset bank slot. So right now you can see here I'm active in a preset called Appetite. That's one of the store-bought ones. I'm currently in Stomp mode. So when I hit switch number 1, my stomps come in and out, as they should. I can hold pedals 3 and 4 down and switch back and forth to presets, and that's all fine. Whoops, that's loud. Sorry. So that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to work. If you recall earlier, I assigned my test video preset to bank number 25. You can see down here that I have some stomps in this rig, but they're not in the stomp area here. And I've watched some videos. If I go into stomp mode here, fine, I'm in stomp mode, but nothing happens. These switches aren't actually assigned to anything. So I watched a couple of videos on people going into the menu here and saying, we'll go into test vid, we'll do control change for the preset. This is already sitting in here. They'll click learn, I'll click this button, and nothing happens. And it doesn't actually assign it to anything. So I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what else my options are. So there's probably some way over this, but I have not been able to find it. So if you've run into this problem yourself on either your Mac or your PC, I'd love it if you left a comment below and gave me a suggestion on how to actually get these your stomp pedals up into the stomp area. Thank you for watching, and have fun playing. Okay, so I recorded this video the other day, and I hadn't gotten around to publishing it yet. You've already watched segment A of this video, and this is segment B. I actually have the solution. I opened a ticket with IK Multimedia. It did take them a few days to get back to me, but eventually they ended up answering my question. The question was what you just watched about getting the stomps into the stomp area. What they told me was it all has to do with this split box. So you can see right now I'm in stomp mode and there's no stomps in here. Watch this. Then they pop in. That's the issue. In order for the stomps to be in the stomp area here, and I'll go ahead and click one on and off. You can hear the pedal and I'm turning them on and off, and that all makes sense. Apparently, in order for them to show up in this area, they need to be in front of the split box in your signal chain, because I can drag them right back out and then they disappear. I hadn't noticed that they were, behind the split box or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, so there's the solution to that issue. So hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful to you, and good luck.